Hello everyone, David here. Now, I am fully aware of the cliche. Being a man of a certain age, at a certain point in my life, I really didn't want to cave in and buy a leather jacket and get a motorbike. I've never felt even the slightest inclination to play golf. Yet, here we are, I'm finally into it. But I'm a tech dad, so I don't want to do it the old-fashioned way. I've got to get gadgets involved somehow. And that's where Walkabout mini golf comes in. I can play with my friends on many different crazy golf courses without having to take long walks along the green or even, thankfully, leave the house. Some standing up is required, but I'm willing to meet the game halfway. So this is a review of Walkabout mini golf for Quest. It's not a sponsored video, I bought the game with my own money, and thank you to my fellow tech dads, Gaz, Toby and Mike for helping record some multiplayer footage for this video. So the TLDR is, even if you don't like golf, you'll probably still like this game because it's very accessible and it's brilliant fun in multiplayer with a few friends. It's actually pretty polished and a really worthwhile game in VR, it just wouldn't be as much fun with a gamepad or even motion controllers. To dig a little deeper, what makes Walkabout mini golf so good is really three things: the physics, the courses, and the netcode. The game is sufficiently simplified for non-golfers like me. You just have one club, there's no picking between a 5 and a 7 iron here, and the ball reacts believably to your strikes. You really do have to line up your shots well and gauge your power, and then after a while you will start to see some improvement on your part. You'll start making those long putts as you get a feel for the game. One feature I love is that the club dynamically changes its length to match your height above the ground, so you're never in danger of clipping the top of the ball or embarrassingly digging a hole before you've hit it. And pro tip, use two hands. You only need one controller, so I suggest you put the other one down so you can steady your dominant hand with your offhand. It somehow feels more golf, and it does actually make your shots more accurate. When I clip at the ball one-handed, my shots tend to veer off course. You can backhand shots in if you particularly want to showboat, and if you make a particularly lucky shot, skillful shot, you can press B for an instant replay. It's a nice way to show the winning angle to your friends if you're so inclined to help them. Now, I have to compliment Mighty Coconut on their course design. It's so creative and fun to play within. Given the technical limitations of the Quest, that is to say, mobile processors, they've gone for a stylized, low-poly look which is very pleasant to the eye. The color palettes pop, and the dynamic elements in the courses are not just amusing, but functional parts of the gameplay too. I particularly like it when you have to time your shot to make it into a monkey's claw so that it can feed up the ball to its own mouth, or avoid a freeze ray that will turn your ball into an ice cube. On this level, unless you fancy a very difficult putt to bounce your cube into the hole, you need to get near enough to melt it back into ball form. And this kind of playful interaction with the environment makes the game much more than just hit the ball as accurately as possible. On each course you have the holes, of course, but also missing balls that you can find and then use yourself to add your personal touch. Some of them are extremely well hidden and had us hunting around for quite a while. This provides a nice distraction while you're waiting for your turn, although they can become a bit too distracting. You'll find you're poking around in barrels and looking in nooks and crannies, and you can miss everyone else taking their shot and come to the hole rather unprepared. But still, it's a very positive feature overall. And then you have the fox hunts, which don't require you to play golf at all. You look for the clues, try and decrypt them, and then find the next clue hidden somewhere on the course. This leads you on an interesting trail and rewards you with a new golf club at the end, a further way you can customize the experience and show off to your friends. A few times we've stopped and said, "Hey, where did you get that club?" While going over the courses with a fine-tooth comb, you start to realize how many fun and hidden details there are. I expect they will elicit a chuckle from you when you discover a skeleton or a snowman that's otherwise out of view. I think it's worth mentioning the multiplayer implementation, which is really, really good. I can't fault it at all, which is really rare to say about multiplayer. I love how generous they are with courses. As long as someone in your group has purchased it, you can all play that course with a guest pass. Now, if you're a guest, you can't collect the lost balls or play the fox hunt, but you can do everything else on that course, and that's a really clever way of making it inclusive and providing a little sneak peek at the courses for those who haven't paid yet. You can play up to 8 players at once, and that feels like a good limit actually. Any more and you'd be waiting ages for your turn. What is very nice is the ability to leave and rejoin at almost any time and catch up. Since you're not actually influencing each other's interactions with the levels, at least not directly, if you have a network problem and get booted out, you can rejoin and make up your shots. If you join late, the other players get a choice of either letting you catch up and play the holes you've missed, or just get the max stroke count for each hole up to the current one, so you can at least join in. Good luck winning the game that way, but at least, again, it's inclusive. The voice chat is good and just works, as you would hope.
Oh, nice.
That's worked out rather
That
nicely.
is a good strategy.
The best thing of all is that for now, it's free to play online. Maybe I shouldn't be giving Meta any ideas, but honestly, I'm surprised in this day and age that any online service doesn't require a subscription fee. I suppose this comes with the downside that the servers may get shut down, and this has happened to a few VR games like Echo VR. And that wasn't the first and won't be the last. Hopefully Walkabout keeps running for a good long time. Returning to the subject of being a tech dad, I find it interesting to note how my gaming tastes have changed over the years. When I was younger, I was quite into twitchy, timing-based games. I mean, I grew up on Sonic the Hedgehog on my Mega Drive and Team Fortress, the original, on PC. Nowadays, I'm definitely into more strategic games, or just something with a really great story and characters. Walkabout Mini Golf gets a really nice balance of skill without any needless time limits or stress, coupled with the fact that you can hang out with your friends. And then the multiplayer is essentially a PvE game. You're all trying to get the best score possible against par, but it is mixed with this frisson of competitiveness, and you can get some very close nail-biting games. So I recommend you give this one a try. The base game is relatively cheap at 11 UK pounds or 15 US dollars, but they will hit you up for courses. The DLC is about £3 or $4 per course, but remember, only one of the players in your group actually needs to buy them, unless you particularly want the club from that level's fox hunt. I ended up buying the hole-in-one bundle, which is more expensive but contains a lot of content, which I expect to keep me going for a while. VR is in a funny state at the moment. It still feels like we're waiting for that killer app, and the memory of Half-Life Alyx is aging fast. We did actually get a couple of fantastic, what I would call AAA games recently, Assassin's Creed Nexus VR and Asgard's Wrath 2, both with interesting stories and deep gameplay. I have a couple of live streams on my channel if you want to see them. But they both seem to have come and gone and pretty much faded in the public consciousness. Perhaps it's because conventional games are still going strong? I think VR needs to establish itself as the only way to play some games, and titles like this, where you really need to hold a golf club like a golf club in VR, is helping to push the medium in that direction. Okay, that's my review. If this was entertaining in some or any way, leave me a like, and you can help me out by subscribing to my channel as well. Okay, see you next time.